Elle Varner is an R&B singer who started her career really early in life. She was always attached to music because her parents were musically gifted and were also active in the music industry. Her mother is a Cape Verdean woman who was a backup vocalist for Barry Wright and has written and recorded with Tevin Campbell and Rosanne Patterson. She released a solo album in 2007. Her father, Jimmy Varner, is a half African American and Swedish man. He is a songwriter, producer, can play multi-instruments. He collaborated with musicians like Gerald Alston, Kool and the Gang, Will Downing, so she got the talent definitely from her parents. Both of her parents wanted to make it in the music industry. They worked hard for it. They even created their own band with Stan Shepard, which was named All Meats. The group was short-lived and didn't have that much success, but they never stopped doing music. Growing up, Elle was sleeping on studio couches, running around green rooms and watching her parents struggling to make it in the music industry. In the age of 6 years, she started to play her first instruments, flutes, and later she moved on to piano and guitar. She also was helping her mother writing songs for other artists. As a teenager, she attended several musical programs. Later on, she attended New York University's Clive David's Department of Recorded Music. In 2008, she graduated successfully. A year later, in 2009, she signed her first record deal with 3 labels, MPK, J and RCA Records, with a co-publishing agreement with Sony Music. Immediately, she started to work on her first album. The first single that came out from the album was Only Wanna Give It To You, that was released on August 6, 2011. The feature guest on the song was J. Cole. The song was colorful, jazzy, funk, pop, R&B and hip-hop. It was a good start for her career. The song peaked at number 20 on the US Billboard R&B and Hip Hop Song charts. In 2011, RCA announced they disbanded from J Records along with Arista Records and Jive Records, which meant that Elle Varner was not signed anymore to the other labels, just to RCA. They were now responsible for her career. Before she released a solo album, she decided to drop a mixtape in January 2012. That was a strategy for her marketing campaign. The title of the mixtape was Conversational Lush. The second single from her debut album was Reveal. The song charted at number 78 on the US Billboard R&B and Hip Hop charts. It became one of the most significant songs of her career. In August 2012, they finally released the album Perfectly Imperfect. The album charted on number 4 of the US Billboard 200 charts with first week sales of 33,000 units. It debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop album charts. She did what she could do, promoted the album. During the process, she was invited to co-write songs for another artist, Miguel. She wrote songs like Use Me for his album Kaleidoscope Dream. In 2013, it was announced that Varner started to work on her second album. After the success of the first album, she started to work hardly on a second one. She worked with heavy producers like Pop Oak, Eric Hudson, DJ Dahi, The Internets, and Hit Boy. This time around, she wanted to show more her growth. She wanted the record to be more sexy, and she wanted to create her own lane. She titled it Trap Jazz. During that time, she started to release some singles, Don't Wanna Dance, which is in my opinion one of her best songs, Fuck It All, Birthday featuring 50 Cent. Most of the songs that she released didn't have the same success as the songs that she released for her first album. But people was exciting for the second album and she was promising her fans all the time, my album will come soon. After a while, it was announced that RCA dropped Elle Varner. After that, she decided to go independent and to release her next album through the imprint E1. Her second album, Elevation, came out in July 12, 2019, 7 years after the first album. Singles for this album were Loving You Blind and Poor Me featuring Wale. With this album, she didn't have the same success as with the first album because she funded the whole project by herself, but she did the best she could do to promote the album. You can tell she disappeared from the music industry a little bit more. She's there, but she's not that active as she used to be when she was with a major label. But early this year, she announced that she's working on her third album and is planning to release it soon. With Elle Varner is, I think she is a super talented artist. first. The first time I heard her music, I asked myself, who is this? I was impressed with her first album. Her first album is a masterpiece, a mix between hip-hop, pop, jazz, R&B, funk. In my opinion, one of the best newcomer albums in the 2010s. Energetic, powerful, and very unique. She had her own style, that's what I loved about her. And her tone was special. She has a voice like a mix from Adele and Dorinda Clark Cole from the Clark sisters. Her first album was really colorful, but I feel like even though she had the success with the first album, that her label could do more to promote her. They wanted to promote her more to the black people, but I think her album and her style had the potential to go overseas and to have more success outside of the black community. Labels think often in a box. They are like, okay, this is just for black people. Okay, this is just for this specific ethnic of people. If she would have been a white artist with this album, they would have promoted her everywhere because every song on this album sounds like a hit. Another thing that I noticed is Elle Varner was signed with RCA, the same label that signed her. Elle Varner and her are two different artists. The thing that makes them a little bit similar is that they can play instruments, and both of them wear sometimes curly hair. They were signed at the same time with RCA. Her signed her deal in 2011. At that time she was 14 years. It was around the time Elle Varner signed her deal and was preparing to release her first album. I think at that time the label was trying to find the right sound, the right people, the right producers for her and developing her style. After some years went by and her became older, it felt to me that RCA replaced her with Elle Varner, and that's one of the reasons why they kicked her out. Her is younger than Elle Varner, and maybe they thought, what's the point of having two similar artists here if we can just invest in one of them? Because as older someone gets, as harder it becomes for a label to promote those artists. It's expensive and they wanted to reduce the costs. It's sad to me because Elle Varner had so much potential to do much more, but that's how the industry works. Think of all the people who came out with Elle Varner. You had Bridget Kelly, you had Revoke, which was an artist on Neo's label. Think even of people who was before there, Cherry Dennis, Tyra B, Tiffany Evans, and much more. All these labels use those artists like prostitutes. They are not here to build outstanding superstars or outstanding artists. They are here to use the momentum for 1 minute and then to throw them away. Why we do not have any more black Whitney Houstons, Mariah Carey, Aretha Franklins in this generation? Because everybody's looking for fast success. Those labels are checking for fast success. They don't want to develop artists. And when you find someone like Elle Varner who can create great music and who's gifted in what she is doing, they immediately wanted to succeed. That's one of the reasons why labels are not checking for talents anymore. They want to see how many followers you have on social media. The more follower an artist has, the less marketing dollars they're gonna spend for the release of albums and singles, because they want everything to go viral. Elle Varner came out in the last era where artists were really making albums, concept albums, because these days most of the artists release just EPs. An EP is not an album and it has not the same value. Everybody is doing now music for data. The musical feeling, it's not anymore there. And to be very honest, most of these new artists are doing just EPs because they are not talented enough to create a whole album. That's just the truth. It's much easier to create a 5 or 4 songs EP than a whole album. With Elle Varner's second album, I was a little bit disappointed. I have to be very honest, because the thing that made her unique with the first album was missing in the second album. She was exploring herself, was doing different styles. It was like Kanye West, Outkast and Carmen are meeting Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill and Jill Scott. Then she had also pop elements in the music. It reminded me a little bit of Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake. I don't know how she created that album, but it was a whole nother level. The second album didn't have the same power. It seemed to me like she wanted to sound like anyone else out there. The album felt a little bit boring to me, and I don't think the sexy stuff fits her well. Elle Varner is more the type of artist who creates her own lane for herself, like the Lauryn Hills, like the Sade, the J. Cole, Outkast, Kendrick Lamar. Those people don't care about what's happening on the media or on the charts. And that's the type of category where I saw Elle Varner. The first time I saw her and I listened to her music, I knew immediately this woman is different. And that was missing on the second album, because on the first album she had different styles, but the sound was cohesive and she created something that was really strong. I hope she will continue to do music even without all the mainstream support. I hope she will rebuild her brand, because she is a really talented musician and I love her music, and I hope she will go back sound-wise to what made her really unique in the first place. But I want all of you to listen to her first and her second album. The second album is not bad. I'm sharing just my opinion. Let's support her, let's push the sister, because the industry is a playground where independent artists cannot win, because it's a system which tries to fool people. Because I don't believe in the numbers and the chart positions they're showing us each and every week. If you have the right label, if your label is good connected with the heads of the Billboard charts, I mean the owners of the billboards, then you can be at number one with 100 units sold. It's a system, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. The playlists, the number ones, even the awards, Grammys, MTV, Billboard Awards, they know how to sell it to us to make those people look like, oh, this person is selling so much units, oh, this person sold out this arena, and people are buying it. And it's not just like that. This person worked hard. That's the reason why this person is there. I mean, everything in life needs sacrifice, hard work, tears, sweat. You will not succeed when you want it. You will succeed when the time is right. And in this day and age of time, new artists want to succeed immediately. They want the money, they want the awards, they want the number ones, but that's the expectations that the labels have on those new artists. That's the reason why nobody wants to fail. In the moment where you fail, people are gonna compare you to different artists. In the moment where you fail, people are gonna call you flop, not because the music is not amazing, but maybe just because you charted at number 50, or just because your album is not on the charts. It doesn't mean nothing. And that's one of the reasons why artists decide to disappear from the music industry, because they don't have the backings anymore, they don't have the support of the labels, everybody's calling them flop, and they start to believe what those people are saying. That's one of the reasons why people like Elle Varner, Stacey Orico, or even Kina Cosper from Brownstone disappear. I already did a video about Kina in the past. She has one of the most amazing albums ever out there. Commercial wise, the album didn't chart, but does it mean that the album is bad just because it didn't chart? No. Maybe the label didn't have enough resources to promote the album the way it should be promoted, but it doesn't take away the quality of the music. People are more focused on the numbers these days than on the quality of music. That's one of the reasons why everybody sounds the same these days. Just because Summer Walker or a SZA are successful in R&B these days, everybody wants to do the same sound. That's one of the reasons why I celebrate Elle Varner's first album, because she created her own lane and her own sound. That's really important for an artist to have that. I hope you liked the video, and yes, leave me a thumb up, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Do not miss any other videos. We see each other next time. Bye.